How's it going, guys? So today I wanted to talk about whether I think, and give some reasons to, will RuneScape Mobile be successful? Now this is RuneScape 3 Mobile I'm going to be talking about, not old school RuneScape Mobile. We know that was pretty successful anyway, that brought quite a lot of new players to the game, but will RuneScape 3 Mobile do the same thing when it's released? Before we get started, guys, just do like and subscribe if you enjoy this video. I am slowly building up my subscribers towards 100 and I'm really sort of surprised and shocked by it. I love all the support I've had so far. So if this video does interest you, then please do like and subscribe. It helps me grow and, it just makes my day. So anyway, without further ado, let's jump into this topic. So I suppose the first question for this topic will be, what is RuneScape Mobile? Now, what it is, it's basically the full RuneScape 3 experience available on your mobile phone. Now, at the moment, it is only available on Android. It will be coming to iOS at some point, but it's currently in closed beta, and that is only for Android devices. I believe the reason for this is because Apple are a little bit fussy with what they let onto their market, especially for betas and things like that. So, once it's sorted and proven, I assume that then they'll be releasing it on the iOS market as well. So RuneScape Mobile will allow you to do pretty much everything that you can do on the client, and there's no sort of restrictions to that other than the fact that you're playing on a phone, so some things might be more difficult. For example, you're probably going to struggle to do Telos a lot more harder than if you are doing it on the desktop. The reason being, obviously, you've not got all your hotkeys and stuff like that, but it's something you can definitely work around. I have videos showing me doing a Raxor, things like that, and I've done a full spider leg on mobile, so it's definitely something that you can look into doing. It's not totally unrealistic for you to be able to do bossing on mobile. The two versions are the exact same sort of game, so if you play on your mobile, you can then log off over there and then go directly onto your PC and you will log in exactly where you logged off on mobile, and the other way around as well. So if you went on PC, logged off, went on mobile, you'd be in the exact same place. It's the same character, same bank, same profile, everything like that. So why have they made a RuneScape Mobile version? Well, in these days, people who started playing RuneScape back in the old days, when it first came out, they've grown up quite a bit. And to be honest, the community is probably the people who have stuck around to begin with. Obviously, we do get new players into the game, but not as much. Most people tend to head over to old school RuneScape with the higher player base and, things like that. There's a lot more coverage on old school RuneScape. However, RuneScape 3 players do tend to be people who have stuck around, which means they've grown up with the game, but they've also grown up in life as well. So having this game, their favourite game, available in their pocket, so whenever they've got a free moment, they can jump on, they can do a bit of AFKing, skilling, bossing, whichever, whatever suits, then that's definitely something that will appeal to the market of RuneScape. Having less time as a grown-up just means that you can't really sit there and sit on your laptop all day long, just like myself, and play games, but if you've got RuneScape Mobile access, then you can definitely, still keep up with the flow and keep on top of the game and just enjoy it wherever you are. Now that we've covered why you would want RuneScape Mobile or what RuneScape Mobile is, what I want to talk about next is, can you actually play the game on mobile just as well as you can on the client? Now, the answer is yes and no. In the way that, for example, like I said before, doing Telos, you kind of will struggle because of certain hotkeys, things like that. So high-end bossing, if that's what you're into, will be a lot different. Not to say that you can't do it, but at the moment there's a bug in the game where if you go into Telos or somewhere that has a lot of particle effects, the frames just drop to the ground. But that's not too much of an issue anywhere else, and you can do bosses otherwise. However, this is not me saying that you can't do whatever you want on the game on mobile. You can really literally play this game from scratch on mobile. If you wanted, you could go onto your PC, create a new account, because you cannot currently do that on mobile, And then once you have made that account a member, you can log into the mobile server, and you could literally do that from level 1 all the way up to 99s and max or whatever if you wanted to, and you could still get pretty much the entire experience of the game. It might be slightly different experience in the way of convenience and stuff, but it's definitely something that you can do and still enjoy. There's this big idea around RuneScape Mobile at the moment that it's just going to be for AFKing and a little bit of money making on the side. Now, I do use RuneScape Mobile for things like that. However, it's definitely not just for AFKing or doing things like that. For example, when it first came out, I used it to get towards my max cape, and that helped me a hell of a lot because I struggled to get onto my laptop for enough time each day to progress towards that max cape. But once I got access to RuneScape Mobile, whenever I got that spare 10-20 minutes, I could just whip out my phone, get some experience, stuff like that. But not only that, I have done a full spider leg on this mobile phone. I've literally just gone 2 racks and done racks, gone through it all, no problems really. It's actually not that difficult. The kill times are a little bit slower, but other than that, it's definitely viable. So you can do things like bossing. Quests are really good for mobile. If you don't want to sit there on your laptop, you can just sit on the couch, put a movie on, and you can just go through a quest and movie in the background and whatnot. So that's something that's definitely really helpful for mobile to do with your account, and it does benefit you quite a lot. This app is definitely not just for AFKing. One last thing I wanted to mention before I start getting into the details of my experience with mobile, I just wanted to go over the fact that at the moment it is members access only. Now this is only because it is a beta, and I think they wanted everyone who's testing it to have access to membership so that they could definitely test every aspect of the game. Whereas if it was a free-to-play and say half of the limit was taken by free-to-play players, what we're going to be experiencing on the testing is people just testing out the same areas, and it's all limited. People can't go to all these members areas of the map and do these bosses and see what's buggy and whatnot. Say the bug what I've mentioned about Telos, where if you go in there and it's ridiculously laggy, that wouldn't have been found from free-to-play players, so it's definitely not a bad thing that at the moment it is members. But once you have the full released version, you are going to be able to create an account on that as free-to-play, play that as free-to-play if that's what you wanted to do, or just make it members. But it is going to be good for people who are not already playing RuneScape and want to play. They're going to be able to log in, make an account, and just start their adventure from scratch purely on mobile. So I just wanted to go over my thoughts and experiences with the game. Really, I've not had any issues with it whatsoever. It always loads quick, it always runs smooth. The game actually looks really good and identical almost for a mobile version of it. You would think, seeing as, it's a mobile game comparing to the desktop game, the graphics or the way it runs might be slightly laggy or different. However, it's actually not. You can pretty much have it identical to how it looks on the mobile to the same as it does on the PC. Now, I worded that ridiculously, but what I'm meaning is it's more or less the same game display-wise. So, other than graphics, I've not really had any other issues with it either. The only thing that I would probably mention, but I think is possibly on my side anyway, is it disconnects quite a bit. Now, it only tends to do that when I'm doing things like AFKing or trying to access maybe the bank, so that might be a bug on its side. For example, when I'm doing a Raxor or any sort of boss, it doesn't kick me off. I've not had it yet where I'm halfway through a Rax kill and it disconnects me, so maybe it is something that's like accessing an interface or something like that. But all the bugs that I've had will probably be fixed before they release the full game anyway. I know that they're taking their time with RuneScape 3 Mobile because they know with old school RuneScape Mobile, the bugs that were found was a bit of an issue, so they want to make this game polished and working perfectly before they actually release it. My experience with the gameplay of this, I have definitely sort of done quite a lot. I've not just gone on and done a bit of AFK money making or anything like that. I've actually tried to do as much as I can. I have tried to do Telos and I have got to the final phase, but the lag is ridiculous. Without the lag, it would probably definitely be doable. It's a lot harder, slow kills and whatnot, but it's doable. So people who are only playing this on mobile will have access to end game bosses such as that once it's sorted. I have done things like Araxor and Next. I've soloed those. They're on my YouTube channel if you want to have a look. I think they're like my first videos. The editing quality is terrible, all that sort of stuff. The typical stuff like that. But definitely check them out if you're interested in seeing that you are actually able to do this sort of thing on mobile. I have no doubts whatsoever that people who are going to be able to download this on the full version are going to be able to make an account and thoroughly enjoy this game just as a mobile game. Now, I suppose the main question with this topic is, do I think that RuneScape 3 Mobile will bring more players to the game, and do I think it will make a difference to the game itself? I guess the short answer to this is almost definitely. Now, the reason being is, look at old school RuneScape and how many people flooded into that. Now, people who hadn't even heard of old school RuneScape probably looked at it on the App Store and thought, this looks like a lot better than all the other MMORPGs on the market. Now, I don't know if any of you guys have played many mobile MMORPGs, but I definitely have tried quite a lot of them. I've spent quite a lot of time looking to see if there's anything worth playing on there, and really the answer to that is no. Unless you're interested in pay-to-win rubbish that plays by itself, it's all about spending money on making yourself look not even that good because the graphics are usually terrible, then they don't really compare whatsoever. RuneScape 3 is going to be a fully finished, polished MMORPG available to people instantly. Now, whether they've played it or not, it's going to be something that will appeal to a lot of people, especially seeing as the graphics sort of fit a lot better than old schools do. Now, I'm not hitting on old school's graphics, they're so nostalgic to me and I do love them, but as someone who's not played RuneScape before, they're going to take a look at the game on the market and think, this looks like a game that looks nice, it looks like there's going to be quite a lot of content for me to do, and it's going to be available fully on mobile. It's different to all the other ones, and it's definitely something that they're going to want to have a look into. Having access to a fully finished, polished MMORPG on your mobile phone, to those players who only play games on their phone, is going to be such a big thing for them to do. Now, I know old school RuneScape obviously is already there for that, but a lot of people who are on mobile do like those sort of graphics that RuneScape 3 brings. The colours and all the effects and all that sort of stuff is something that's going to be quite big, I think, to pull people in. Now, the issue that we've got with this, obviously, we only need to rely on Jagex to really pull them in and keep them. Now, this is the problem that we're probably going to run into. I hope that people don't flood the game and then suddenly all disappear. What we want is people to stay and stick around. So hopefully Jagex has something in mind or something to sort of keep those people playing. Obviously the game itself is a really good game, so hopefully that keeps them in. But whether it's going to be the same thing of people are going to start playing, find out that old school RuneScape's a thing, and then just go straight over to that, we'll have to wait and see. So, just to sum things up, yes, I think that RuneScape 3 Mobile will definitely bring more players. Hopefully Jagex can keep them around for us, and hopefully it will add a lot more life to the game. I know there is quite a lot of sort of content in the game that people might see as dead content. Maybe more players will bring that back. Maybe not. If they're not worth doing, then maybe those players will try it and think this is boring and that'll make them leave. So hopefully Jagex does have something in mind to keep those players interested. The very last thing that I wanted to go over was the release date. Do we have any news on the release date? Well, no, not really. No, we don't. All we know is that they are working on it, and it is going to be coming out on both devices at the same time once it is a fully released game. They might increase the cap for us to get onto again, so keep an eye onto that. But I think from now on, it's just going to be staying as it is, possibly until the full release is ready. They have just told us that until the game is ready to be released and it is polished, then that's not going to be released on a state where it's not ready to go. I assume this is because they don't want loads of people to flood into the game, be met with tons of bugs, it's not working, and then just lose interest. Now, that obviously goes back to what I mentioned before about keeping players, so it's definitely a good thing that they are doing that. So that's pretty much everything that I wanted to discuss on this topic. So if you did enjoy it, guys, make sure you like and subscribe. I have got more videos coming out. They are getting a little bit slow for me to sort of produce, but I'm working my best on keeping them coming. And I do, you know, really appreciate all the support that I've had so far. So make sure you hit that like button and that subscribe button so I can get noticed by more people. That's just really where I want to be going with this. Anyway, as always, guys, thanks for watching, and see you later. Bye.